The CFL held its expansion draft on Monday. The Ticats lost 3 players, running back Siobhan Walker, fullback John Delahunt, and center Marwan Hage. The longest-serving Ticat, 10 years with the team. He is certainly the biggest name in this expansion draft from the Ticat perspective.
And that makes it, for me, and I know for you, Drew, a sad day. You're trying to stay objective here, and I think we feel a bit like Kent Austin did. I think he was caught between coach, who would want Hage back, and GM who is looking towards the future here. It's pretty clear this wasn't an accident. I mean, he was left exposed in the second round when they had 12 players they could have protected and didn't. So this is some kind of passing of the guard, and they talk very enthusiastically about who's going to play center, but I'm not sure they've got the person. I really don't. I mean, I know Tim O'Neill can play, but really that's not a step up from Marwan Hodge in any way. But so obviously they're looking at breaking somebody new in next year throughout the year.
Obviously, Hage was a huge contributor to the community involved in Hage's Heroes, which one of the best CFL charities. He has been involved with Thanksgiving Food Drive, has really been the face of this organization through some pretty dark periods.
Really difficult times. I mean, when we look back at when Marwan got here, 2 of the quarterbacks on the team are now highly placed executives and coaches on other teams. Marcus Brady and Danny McManus were the quarterbacks when he got here. So and you're right. I think he kept, like, how do you replace sunshine? Because there was an awful lot of dark around here for a lot of years, and he finally got his one kick at the can in the Grey Cup, and you might wonder if that's the only chance he gets at the Grey Cup, given that he's going to be with an expansion team right now. That said, that expansion team also happens to be in the East, which is pretty weak.
A couple of other things to mention about the expansion draft. Former Ticat quarterback Kevin Glenn also drafted. Former McMaster Marauder Jason Pottinger was also selected. I think what's interesting about this draft is the Red Blacks went with veteran experience right up the middle, from KG to Marwan to Pottinger and Eric Fraser at safety. They got some experience in areas where experience matters.
And loaded up. Canadian-wise, on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and that's sort of where it's done. I think they have 3 defensive linemen and 4 or 5 offensive linemen. Now, most of them aren't top of the line, but I think it's a pretty good start for them. They weren't going to get everything they could, especially in the Canadian sense, out of this. I was surprised they didn't get more defensive backs, because usually you need to, because that's going to be a starting position. But maybe they just felt that they can draft one and play him at second safety and develop that way. So I think what they did was figure out where they can, as you say, up the middle, where can we concentrate on, and they did that. It's pretty clear they're trying to go for ratio breaking at linebacker.
One of the interesting things for the Ticats is in losing Walker, I think that's manageable given the fact that they have CJ Gable and that they have Tavoy Moore and they have Lindsay Lamar. Losing Delahunt, I think, it hurts a little bit more, but they do have Darren Diedrich. They talked about converting linebacker C.O. Prime, who was a draft pick. Austin said that will certainly be something that they'll look at again, so that's not a big loss. But I think, we talked about it just a minute ago. I don't think you know who your starting center is to replace Marwan Hage.
I don't think you do. I think you have some possibilities, but like I said, I almost see, if the season started today, some kind of platooning system where you run one of the veterans there, and then you see if Filer can play center. Then you see if one of the draft choices can play center. But there's going to be tutelage going on there, and you really, the guy that's going to be tutoring them isn't a full-time center. So it's an issue, and I know that these are among the things that Austin and his group had to choose among. Like, where do we look? So obviously we're looking ahead already, in my mind, already before the draft, at perhaps making a change at center. Maybe not making a change, but getting ready for the changeover at center.
One of the things that's been mentioned is Mo Petrus. He was a draft pick for the Ticats, I think, 3 years ago. Austin said that possibility was quite slim. Petrus has been out of football for a year, and I think is happy in his non-football life. I think that's a possibility, but
same thing though, Drew. Yeah. If he comes in, he's got to be tutored. He's got to break in. He's got to break in a few games here, a few games there, and then see what happens. I think one of the points we should make about Ottawa, and it just strikes me as we're talking, when you mentioned Pottinger and Marwan's going to at least recognize the hands on his bum now in Kevin Glenn. He had him here for a few years. You're suddenly looking at, for an expansion team, some pretty good leadership. I mean, Pottinger's a very, very underrated leader. He's a real guy in the room.
Any final thoughts on Marwan Hage? I guess, I mean, you know, you try not to get attached to players in this game because they do come and go, but Marwan's been here all 5 years I've covered this team, and I think has been an unbelievable stand-up guy to deal with, is a good person, and it's tough to see guys like that leave, I think.
Yeah, there's 1,000 words that we could say to Marwan Hage, and I hope, Marwan, that you're watching this, because I'm only going to say 2 of them. Thank you.
Fair enough. Reporting from 1 Jarvis Street at Hamilton Ticat headquarters for the Hamilton Spectator with Steve Milton, I'm Drew Edwards.